Hello, everyone. My name is Jared Kennedy. I am working with Profi Fitness, and I am just doing a recording of this presentation about our new up and coming program. So, it is going to be My Mentoring Plus. So, this is a brand new program that we're offering based on the owner of this school, Edita. She is going to be essentially offering a full mentorship program to people that want to really build their business and kind of enter into a new different world of strategic thinking and really looking forward to bettering themselves, bettering their business, making everything kind of work hand in hand and making everything increase the way they want it to. So she has 32 years of business experience as well within this, and 23 of them have been inside the fitness industry. Um, so the qualifications are there. She owns this fitness school, and the fact that it's so successful really shows that she does know what she's talking about. So just going to be telling you a little few things about kind of what we're going to be doing and what you might see based on your actual completion of this course and what it's going to entail. So My Mentoring Plus, so it kind of creates a business that offers you these few things. So like you can make earnings. Obviously, you're going to need money based on the work you're going to be doing. Liberty is the kind of freedom that you're going to have to be your own boss. I know for myself that a lot of the times when I would be working, that it's a nice feeling when you realize you were in charge of what you're doing and that you're not relying on, say, the ability of others to tell you what to do. You're going to have contentment, so you're going to be very happy with what you do because that is going to be yours. You are going to be delighted to be working on what you want, not what anyone else is telling you to do. And at the same time, then you are going to have an impact on the lives of others, especially if you are looking to stay within the fitness world, because at the end of the day, all we're doing is trying to help better people. And the more you impact someone, in honesty, it says to me as well that you feel better yourself if you're making someone else's life better. And I think that's a really good way of showing it that it's something we kind of focus on, and it's something we really look to have everyone happy with and kind of work together in achieving this. So with cooperation, it's not just a regular course. It's essentially a whole teamwork experience that, like, over the next 12 months we're going to work together to grow your business. Um, and like it says there, it is one step at a time. So like we're not asking you to jump from the bottom of the stairs up to the top. We're asking you to go essentially as one by one, module by module. You're kind of focusing on the different numbers, resources, and like you are going to make all your goals quite achievable. Nothing there is going to make you like you're trying to reinvent the wheel. We're just going to put in place a great system that's going to help you, and a system that has worked countless times before with all of her different business ventures that she has had. Everything she's done has been very successful. So her aim, not my aim now, her aim is just to share knowledge with you, and she's here to help you achieve all these great results. Um, Results is kind of how we base a lot of things off in life, and for a measure of success, that if you were to set these goals for you and you achieve them, that is the best resounding success that we are aiming for in life. So the biggest question that I would say that you would have to ask yourself is like, what do you actually want to become? There are some people that like to have all the knowledge in the world, and they can speak to you on many different topics, so they'll always be an expert at them. But at the same time, then you can almost be nearly an expert. But if you want to own your own business, that is a bit of a difference. So, as it says there is no wrong answer with this. Both paths are very important, but they do need slightly different skills. Um, the next slide shows all the differences. I won't go through every one of them, but just to touch on a few that are going to be there, that it does show that there is a difference between being that kind of an amazing expert and also at the same time being a business owner. So I know there's a lot of words here, so you don't have to read them all, but the difference there between an owner and an amazing expert is that one is kind of more focused on business, and the other is kind of about maybe like focusing on the actual job they're doing and bettering the skills. So just to name a few, an owner would be thinking, how much money should we be making? What is the best way to invest? How are we going to find customers? Because that's a huge part of owning a business, is you're going to need people as well. What's the best way to create a brand? What are some ways to earn money? It's all kind of business related, because at the end of the day, as an owner, you do own your own business. So if anything, you're going to want that to be more successful than any other company in the entire world. Whereas, essentially, as an amazing expert, you would be an employee, but at the same time, you are a specialist. So you'd be thinking about what is the best way to probably do a great job, because you want to keep that job if you love it so much. How are you going to be able to build your skills? What's the secret to becoming a great expert? And then what are some fun ways like to actually get better at your skills? So I know with me, I try a lot of different elements of coaching because as an employee and specialist at the moment, that I try and provide more fun ways of doing exercise, especially when I feel certain clients aren't at the same wavelength they might have been previously. I try and make it more enjoyable. So it's kind of a question to think about, like which would you think about being, or what is the way your kind of mind is working towards it. So a company does require various roles, and every role is super important for a company because no matter what, no matter how amazing one individual is, they cannot set up a full company without the help of someone. Because no matter how amazing you are at everything, there will always be someone better than you at something else. So it's a good thing that you can realize that you do need help and that there are people there to help you. So even as it says, the greatest business idea won't be able to shine its brightest without a full team behind you. So that's why I have the little picture there in the corner that it's three different people pushing three different cogs to the three different metal cogs. So they all work together in unison and they're all doing the same thing over and over. So where do you fit in? And discovering your strengths, and you can find the place that makes the biggest difference and you can feel the happiest. One isn't better than the other as well, because without one, the other ones fall. So you need an owner, you need a manager, you need coaches, instructors, salespeople, administrators. You need every single one of those. Like for example, an owner can own all the business, but if he doesn't have good managers or coaches, it's pointless. So would you think that, considering if you were ready, are you ready? So are you all set to start a business if you can actually take a moment just to think about it? So you need to think about these things on a different basis. That right now, can you like make choices, embrace responsibility? Can you sell, chat with people? Can you refuse? That's a big one that I used to struggle with. That I would sometimes, if you're asked to do something, I'd have a hard time saying no. But that's part and parcel of the game. It's a business world, you know. It's a professional world, not necessarily trying to only make friends here. As much as it is important to still make friends, but you need to be able to put the foot down. And negotiation is huge. At the very beginning, working without promise of payment is probably the biggest one for people that they're not ready to make that jump. But most of the most successful businesses in the world don't make money straight away. It is sheer and honest repetition, and persistence that they don't stop in themselves. So just think about all those different options, and can you think about doing those right now? So not everyone actually needs to be a business owner, and like that's what we're saying is. And that's perfectly fine. Like, you know, we don't want everyone in the world to own their own business, but a great entrepreneur can create a company without having wonderful people around. Every role, once again, and we're going to keep reiterating that every role in the team is very important. What really counts is where you shine the most. And see there, even there's there's four people, 2 men, 2 women, all around the one laptop. I know on the left there's one guy on the shop, but the 4 people there are the reason why that shop might be going successfully. So just something to think about, that everyone needs help with everything. So your first task, and it's just something you need to really think about, just grab a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen or whatever, even Microsoft Excel, and be as honest as you can with yourself with all these, because these are important questions. You make a list of all your monthly expenses. Now look, regardless of the course, this is something that's going to be very important for you. If you don't have a list of all these expenses, you know, there's so many more than you might think of, you know, with renting an apartment or paying off a mortgage, loans, cars, kids, meals, phone, social security, taxes, everything, you know, fun, you know, holidays, fuel, savings, retirement. Think about what's the actual cost of your life. Like, how much money does it take for you to live the way you're living? And kind of like the reason why I say be honest is that you might say, oh, I might go on 1 holiday a year, but last year maybe you went on 3. And so next thing you're wondering why your expenses are higher than normal. So don't be thinking, I'll only go on 1 holiday next year. If you think you're going to go on more, put it down. So how much money then do you need to make? It's not about how much you want, okay? So, because everyone in the world wants more money. It's about a need, essentially. It's a need versus a want. It's how much you have to make, whether that be 100, 500, 1,000, 1,500, 3,000 a month. This is your number. It's not just a dream, because if you ask me how much do I want to make, I would say how much can you give? So I'd want as much as possible, but what I need is something different. So think about that. The business would need to be taken care of before it can bring you that financial freedom that you'd be hoping to get. So your second task is another big one. Despite the whole costs and how much money you need, the first thing you're going to be spending, regardless of money, is time. And you're going to be spending more time. So how much time do you actually have? How many hours would you have left in the day for a business, whether you're already working, whether you have a family, whether you have hobbies, whether you have to drive 27 minutes to your work and 27 minutes back, but maybe on a certain day you have to drive further. It's all these different things. How many times did you hoover a week? Um, how many hours would you have, like, until business starts, essentially, that you can work with this kind of idea and program and company that you were wanting to start. Um, so that's just something I would say, is like, write down all those things and see honestly throughout the week how much spare time you would have minus your 24 hours a day, or is it 184 hours in the week, I think. So whether you're young or old, there will be different challenges present. Now, at the same time, there'll also be different advantages. If you're younger, you're going to have a lot more time. If you're older, you might have a lot more experience. So just a couple of things maybe to look at. When you're younger, you might have a couple of responsibilities at the time. It'll be easier to take chances because you have more time to make a mistake. Like I said, extra time for experiments. You've reduced losses if something goes wrong. As I said, most of that's to do with time. And, if you make a mistake in your mid-20s compared to maybe your mid-40s, but that's why I contrast then with the older. So at the older thing, you do have more experience, you've been around longer. But at the same time, you're going to make bigger promises to yourself because you really want it to work out. You don't necessarily have as much kind of a fallback. There is more responsibility, but at the same time, that's going to lead you to being smarter, more wise, and you're going to make more careful choices. Um, You'll also probably have a stronger list of connections. If you've 20 years on someone, you're going to have different connections that you built up over those extra 20 years. So really, like, to conclude on that point, is that both paths have their own merits. Like, both can do really well, but what really matters, to be honest, is the moment you decide to actually take action, whether that be now or in a week's time or in a couple of weeks. The sooner the better, because regardless if you're young or old, time doesn't stop for anyone. In the blink of an eye, next thing, a person young today is going to be old soon before you make the step. So don't hold back and kind of just go for what you want and seize that opportunity. So with resources that you have, most people, let's say at the bottom there, it says starting capital. People hear capital and they're going to think money. So what resource do I have? I don't have €1,000,000. What am I going to do? I have no chance in setting up a business. But you have a lot more resources than you might think. So your own physical understanding, if you've been involved in this industry, or if you've tried something like this, your understanding and expertise based on courses that you've done, your customers that you've worked with before, and connections, your ability to speak as a human can be considered capital. If you have a room, club, or workspace that you work from, social media platforms, anything like that you can use to advantage a business in its upbringing and if its continuation. If you have a car, if you want to get some places to have a meeting with someone, you might have to rely on that public transport. So, and you can always sell the car and buy a different one. So, and at the same time, money, financial assets. A work buddy is good as well if you have someone you can rely on strongly. So I know that I have a certain list of teachers that I can rely on very well. And straight away then that makes everything a lot easier, that you don't have to panic thinking, is this person going to be a good fit for us? But I know they are. So having someone to help you like that. And then the biggest one, way more important than money, is having the effort and enthusiasm to actually take the action required. I could give anyone $1,000,000, but I couldn't. But you could give someone €1,000,000 and they mightn't be able to start a company because they just couldn't be bothered. If you have that enthusiasm and that effort into really growing something for yourself, that is more important. Every one of these items are going to be your starting capital. So what do you think you're missing? And the reason why it's crossed out is, look, it doesn't matter if you think you're missing things. This is what you're here for. If you're missing something, see that as an opportunity to go and gain that knowledge, to go and learn about it and understand it. So you're not missing anything. You're just waiting to understand it and learn it. So this is why we say there's no judging. Jot down everything you can still think of based on if you think knowledge. For me, if I was to do this course, I would say I'm missing money, because money is a big factor, and I'm still young enough that I don't have maybe the same level that someone else has. So it's a judge-free zone, and there's no reason to feel embarrassed about this. This is where we begin to take action. That you see what you're missing, and you see it as a challenge that you go and attack it, and then you're going to know exactly what you want based on it. So everyone has their own starting point with this, but what really matters is that you understand your own current situation and you have a plan to make it better. Because if we don't have a plan to try and make something better, then it's not going to improve. So this is why we really focus on this, that when I started with Profi, I explained before what I was missing. And instead of saying, okay, sorry, that's not going to be useful to us in any way, they said, okay, well, how can we help you? And that's a way that I love to see people be and see things be, that we can really work together on this. So the start of your journey based on this course is, this is kind of the beginning. So we don't just want to follow what others do. Like, we don't want to be sheep here. We want to be the shepherd. So we're going to help you growing your business using what you already have. We're not going to say scrap everything you've done and start completely anew. No, we're just going to make what you have better. And you're going to make what you have better. It's not just going to be down to us. This is a two-way system. It's going to be your journey based on your speed and the outcomes that you set that we're going to try and achieve. So, as you can see, it's a man walking up the stairs, and he's not running, he's not jumping from the top to bottom, and he's not getting an escalator, because that's not how it works. But it's step by step and working together in how we're going to achieve this. So today really is about making that choice and taking action. So at the end of this, just think as well, and we think everyone will have just one question to answer if you're watching this right now. Is starting my own business really what I want to do? And if that answer is a big yes, why not start? Why wait? Us as humans are naturally programmed to waste time and wait until the right moment. And if something doesn't go right, I'll start tomorrow. I'll start in 10 minutes time. There's no better time than the present. There's a great quote where it's, tomorrow is a mystery and yesterday was history, but today is a gift, and that's why they call it present. And I know that's a bit philosophical, but it's so true that you should appreciate every day like that. And if this is something that you can see yourself giving your heart and soul and loving to do it, then why not do it? I don't see why you wouldn't. Like, it's a brilliant mentoring program that does include, like, you will have 50 meetings spread across 10 important modules for business. You are going to learn more information than possibly you might have ever thought possible. There's no random topics thrown in just for the sake of it. Everything we have, the details that we have in each part of this course, are made just for you, and success is created step by step, relying on numbers rather than feelings. So if you feel something is going well, we're going to take it more like show you why, show you how it's going well, explain through data that it's going well, rather than just say, yeah, we feel like it's going okay. We're going to show you why it's going okay. We're going to explain what's going well and how to achieve it. So I know it's a bit in big words there, but if you're not looking at the image, just listen to me and say, if it's a yes, go for it. And that's coming from someone who's still young enough at the moment that I could. Go for it, regardless of what age you are. If it's going to make you happy in life, sacrifice everything to make yourself happier. So just want to say, everyone that's listened to it so far, thank you so much for listening. We're really looking forward to hearing from you, and we honestly can't wait to get started in this new program and everyone else's journey. We, as much as we say at the start that you will be impacting the lives of others, you could impact the lives of us. And the connections we can make through this, like, the possibilities are endless. So just think about what can actually happen with this, and think about how many lives could actually be changed. So just want to say thanks very much. This is Jared Kennedy from Profi Fitness. Thank you so much for listening. And if you're interested, please choose a date for your next meeting. Thanks very much, everyone. Goodbye.